All right, let's move to this. The corruption case against former President Jacob Zuma was set to return to the Pietermaritzburg High Court today, but due to Zuma's ill health, all parties have agreed to a postponement. Zuma is reportedly still in hospital. eNCA senior reporter Siphamandla Goge is in Pietermaritzburg. Let's go live to him now. Siphamandla, good morning to you. Of course, that court date was meant to happen, but it seems that a mutual agreement to postpone has been, of course, taking place.
Indeed, and even today's date was based on the former president health status, really, his ill health. We understand that he's still in hospital, so the matter will be heard today virtually. We expect that proceedings will be very brief, they will not take long, and then after that the matter is said to be postponed to at least the 20th and the 21st of September. So it means a couple of weeks from now we should be back here at the High Court of South Africa, KwaZulu-Natal Division, sitting in Pietermaritzburg. That's when we'll get an understanding as to what will happen moving forward. So today we expect that the judge will be very brief because this postponement is by consent. All parties, the state, the defense, have agreed that the matter should be postponed and there is no need for physical appearance because proceedings will be very brief. That's why it's going to be held virtually. It's just for record purposes to say it did sit and then it was postponed, even though parties have agreed, behind the scenes that it will be a postponement, but it still has to come to court so that it can be placed on record that it was heard, but nonetheless proceedings were brief, it had to be postponed. So we expect that the judge may inquire to the defense lawyers of former President Jacob Zuma about his status, when they expect that he will be discharged from hospital. We understand that he's still in hospital. He's been granted a medical parole, even though that decision is being questioned and challenged by some people. But according to the National Commissioner or the prison's boss, Arthur Fraser, the former president was granted that medical parole. We expect that he should be released from hospital anytime. His family members, who are our sources, have told us that he has not been released yet. So we expect that the judge may inquire from his defense lawyers to say what is happening with your client, when do you expect him to be released from hospital, and we expect that they might give an indication that they expect him to be released by this date. So today basically is just to get a sense of what will happen moving forward, but everything depends on former President Jacob Zuma's health status.
Yeah, and just briefly, Siphamandla, before I let you go, I mean, it wasn't an easy road as opposed to, rather for the NPA to get you. I understand at this moment they are still examining the former president's medical records, but it hasn't been easy because I know the Jacob Zuma Foundation had said that they did not appreciate that. It seemed there was some bias from, the NPA side wanting to examine these medical records because they say we have sought, medical attention for the former president. These are the records. Why was there a need then for the NPA to provide their own, healthcare medical record to sort of examine independently what could be the problem health-wise with the former president? Quite a long road to where we are today.
Indeed, and a lot of mistrust is going to continue like that, No matter what happens moving forward, you will have those back and forth and you will have those clashes of words between the NPA, the defense lawyers, and the former President Jacob Zuma's foundation. But it's surprising that you would have such comments from the foundation simply because that was a deal that was reached by all parties here. Former President Jacob Zuma's lawyers did not object to that when it was proposed here at the High Court of South Africa, KwaZulu-Natal Division, sitting in Pietermaritzburg. Last time we were here, part of the deal was, okay, we'll postpone the matter. We will await for the medical record of your client to hear from the doctors who are treating him what is happening with him. Of course, you will not get to understand the extent and the nature of what former President Jacob Zuma suffers from, because that is a doctor-patient confidentiality. He has a right to privacy. You will not have that being thrashed out in the media. But for the court, they need that medical report. It has since been submitted by those who are treating former President Jacob Zuma, who are from the health military services, by the way, which is part of the state. But the deal that was reached here at the High Court was that former President Jacob Zuma's lawyers did not object to the NPA being allowed to bring in another medical team to examine the former president. Later, his foundation has been objecting to that. So it remains to be seen what will happen. But according to what was agreed upon here at court, there was no objection to that. So we will wait to hear what will happen today. What will Judge Bidkun say about that, if at all they will touch on that.
All right, we'll leave it there. Thank you so much. eNCA senior reporter Siphamandla Goge.